roughly around about 3 months since I've talked about Austin St. John, and we finally get a whole conclusion of what is actually happening with him and his court case. And we're going to go through an entire web page. It's the only page I found so far that has actually talked about his court case. And yeah, we finally have an update to it. So over here on the Courthouse News Service, it says, Red Power Ranger actor avoids prison for role in 3.5 million PPP scam. Now, I'm going to go through this entire document and I will give my kind of thoughts at the very end. And we have a few other things from Henry Resilient as well, which I kind of want to talk about. Austin St. John was sentenced to 5 years of probation and ordered to pay over $225,000 for his part in the proceeding. Something COVID relief funds. Now, if you don't know, and you're very new to this, basically when the COVID release funds were happening and people were applying for the COVID funds and stuff like that to help their businesses grow, Austin decided to scam them all and try to get money out of it so he could, have a very, very good time. And yeah, it just didn't work out. They came along, they arrested him. He said he was completely innocent and then later on pled guilty. So it was interesting. Okay, so Planton, Texas, CN. Austin St. John, the Dallas area actor famous for playing the Red Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, avoided a federal prison sentence Thursday for his role in a $3.5 million paycheck protection program. Okay, I thought it was payment, but paycheck. St. John, 50 of McKinney, is it McKinney? Okay, was sentenced to 5 years of probation under his legal name of Jason Lawrence Geiger after pleading guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. St. John told U.S. District Judge Jeremy Ken Noodle, okay, the crime was a one-off thing. Of course, he's going to be, Your Honor, it's just one-off. Okay, carrying on. This court will never see me again, St. John, during the sentencing hearing. I will go back to my good works. St. John was dressed in a black suit, white shirt, dark glasses, and blue striped tie. He was joined in court by his wife. Now, I read this. Other people are going to be like, why are you putting in the Donald Trump appointed judge? It has no meaning in this. It has no meaning in this whatsoever. The Donald Trump appointed judge ordered St. John to pay over $225,000 in restitution, waiving a fine and interest due to his inability to pay the additional amount. Okay, interesting. A total of 19 defendants were indicted in 2022 over the scam. Prosecutors say Michael Lyra, whatever Hill, 50 of Mineral Wells, recruited people to use existing businesses or create a business to apply for PPP funds. The program was launched in 2020 under the CARES Act to prop up American businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. The government money orientated as loans with a 2-year mandatory period and an interest rate of 1%, with PPP loans being forgiven if businesses spent it on payroll, mortgage, interest, rent, and utilities within 8 weeks of the receipt. At least 75% of the forgiven amount must have been spent on payroll alone. Prosecutors claim that Andrew Charles Morgan, of 46, of Lewinsville, helped recruits with PPP paperwork and phony supporting documents. St. John and other defendants paid Hill and Morgan, then spent the remaining money on themselves, according to the prosecutors. A statement posted to St. John's social media immediately after the indictment claimed that the actor never met or interacted with the majority of the 18 other defendants. It was our understanding that Austin put faith, reputation, and finances in the hands of third parties whose goals were self-centered and ultimately manipulated and betrayed his trust, spokesperson Zachary McGinnis said in 2022. We expect Austin's legal team to successfully defend against these charges and lead to his ultimate exoneration. Don't give a shit about what Austin played. Prosecutors asked canoodled last week to spare St. John prison time, citing his cooperation with the law enforcement since his arrest. In addition, the defendant met with the government multiple times leading up to his trial and testified at the trial. Canoodle explained he declined to give St. John prison time due to his testimony, blah, blah, blah. Prosecutors noted that Gregory Fitzgerald Hartley, 41, of Allen, is the only defendant so far in the case to receive prison time due to the large part of his criminal history. St. John has been active on the fan convention circuit for several years. He is scheduled to appear. There we go. So that's it. Now, pretty much all the others have done stuff. If you want to go have a look, I'll link this in the description. But it says here, Jason Geiger, non-custodial sentence, 5 years probation. From the date of his arrest, Geiger has cooperated with law enforcement, including providing a statement upon arrest and coming in for a brief a few months after the indictment. In addition, this defendant met with the government multiple times leading up to the trial and testified truthfully at trial. Considering his assistance, the government submits that he should receive a non-custodial sentence. Henry's dropped his video. Go check it out. I'll link it in the description as well as his channel. But this is what kind of made me like go, oh, okay, as well. Like literally, as soon as all of this was done, I imagined that he just literally ran out the building or ran to another part and was like, I need my passport back. So basically, he wants the return of his passport so he can literally run to his social media and go like, hey guys, I'm coming to all the convention. I guarantee you that Austin St. John right now is going to be going to every single convention you can think of. You name it, all the money he can get so he can pay off his debt to the government right now. So Henry, as I showed this, defendant Geiger's unopened motion for the return of his passport. Comes now defendant Jason Lawrence Geiger by and through his unregistered counsel and files this unposed motion for the return of his passport. Defendant Geiger respectfully moves the court for a written order memorializing its May 1st, 2025 oral order allowing Geiger to receive his passport that was previously surrendered clerk of the court, and then that's particularly it. So basically he's gonna get his passport back. I personally think that Austin should be in jail for what he has done. I'm glad that he now has a felon title and I hope he wears it with pride because he's earned it. I think what has really annoyed me is that he was saying that YouTubers and the media were lying, and he tried to paint this entire picture that anyone that was talking about this or had information, then they were instantly the worst people out there. They were scum. They were on the bottom of his shoe. And that really did generally fucking piss me off. He should have owned up to it straight away. He should have and said, yeah, I can't talk about it. Things are being looked into, but yeah, unfortunately, this is going on. But not just painted it as, oh, I'm completely innocent, when there was so much evidence stacked against him from day one. He was generally sending people to attack other people about this, and it really annoyed me as well. But then also now finding out that he was helping law enforcement since he actually got arrested. That is something I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, just generally attack people for no reason. I know he couldn't really talk about a lot of stuff, but he generally could have corrected some of the things that he was saying. I know that people in the fandom literally just won't care about this and will still go and see him and pay for his autographs and photos. I think that's absolutely fine. If you want to support him, absolutely 100%, you go and support him and do what you want. That's absolutely fine. But just remember, half of your money from that is going back to paying the government for what he owns. And one thing that I will say is he's generally going to pop up everywhere now. He's going to be doing as many conventions until that bill has been settled. So yeah, basically he's just going to get the fandom to pay back his debt really, really quickly. I know that there are going to be some fans that will think that he's completely innocent and because nothing has been done. He wasn't put in jail, so therefore he's walked free from this. In one of Henry Resilient's recent video about Austin, he mentioned that Austin won't break his probation because he won't be doing anything financially wrong in the future. So literally he'll just walk away after the 5 years, get away from the probation. And we all know that Austin isn't going to be doing this whatsoever in the future. And if he does, Dear God, Austin, you didn't learn your lesson, but we know that literally the probation isn't really much because he's not going to be going into the financial sector or anything like that. So yeah, all he had to do was pay back the money with his fans' money and he's pretty much done. He's pretty much settled. So yeah, he pretty much got away with it. I'm pretty sure that if he didn't have to pay things back, he would be dancing in the streets, dancing around his house every single day and just kind of grooving with the fandom, thinking that he got away with everything. What I generally find funny in this is he practically ran to get his passport so he could fly around America. I know he's not going to be able to go to many other countries if they don't accept felons. So yeah, just jet setting around America as fast as he can so he can get that much money. It's not about meeting the fans. It's not about that. It's all about the money. How much he can save up and put away so he can pay the government back a lot faster. Even though I would have loved to have seen Austin in prison, I will respect the justice system. The courts have passed their judgment and we have to respect that. Even though that I would have loved to have seen Austin in prison. I generally think now you're going to see him make loads more content on Fanwood and use the money that he gets paid from that to obviously pay back what he owes. But now I'm just glad that we've come to a conclusion. Austin St. John is a convicted felon. I hope he actually thanks his lucky stars on this one. I'm still not going to support him or anything, and I generally think Austin is fucking scum for everything that he's been doing over the past couple of years, if not since he's been back in the convention circuit. But I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this? Leave them in the comments and let's discuss. And while you're down there, why not hit the like button and the subscribe button, as I'm trying to reach 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I know we can hit that goal, so let's go! Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimona Cat. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。